Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Another episode, Her Business, Her Voice, Her Conversation. Well, I always open up with a ad read, but not today. No, I have a very special guest here, and we are going to jump right into the meat and potatoes of this subject. You're talking about reinventing yourself. This lady is going to give us a tool, some tools that we can use so that we meet this reinvention process with much success. And we actually take on and own what's really supposed to be a part of our lives anyway. So get pen and paper together. I have pen and paper. I want to have a complete and working understanding about today's subject. So my guest today is a physician. Yes, when you see doctor, or she is a doctor, you all, okay? International speaker, a coach, author, Bible study teacher. So Dr. Angela Harden Mack, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Margot, for having me. I am super excited to be here. Thank you.
Well,
thank you.
When I understand who you are, what you've done, and you are the manifestation expert, that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
Not just someone who knows about manifestation. You are the manifestation expert. That tells me that you own it. And when you own something, you can back it up. As TJ Mercer says, you got the receipts. So I don't even really know where to start with this conversation, except that you learned about positive thinking, faith, and visualization.
Yes.
Is that something that all of us can do?
Yes. So one of my favorite topics, manifestation, making it happen. Yes, it's something that we can learn. And for me, this started at home. With my parents, come from very humble beginnings, and part of my story is that we were on food stamps for a bit. We had some financial reversals. We were on food stamps, free lunch, government cheese. If people know about the government cheese, free lunch, we were on that. But despite that time in the life of the family, my parents were not negative. They were not negative Nellies and looking at, oh, woe is me, woe is us, what we don't have. Positive thinking. My mom did some things. She was a Tupperware lady at one time. She sold Avon, she sold dinner. So she was an entrepreneur. She's still with us. She was an entrepreneur. My dad worked and got his college degrees, while raising a family. So I was 10 when he earned his bachelor's degree. And then later he had his master's, and then, he had a doctorate. So positive thinking. My parents would say too is, life is going to be hard in different ways for all of us at some time. Could be job, could be school, but don't let that get you down. If life knocks you down, you get up, brush your knees off, wipe your eyes, and go forth. If life gives you lemon, you make lemonade. If there's a storm out, there's a rainbow after it. So these are some of the things that I heard at home. And so learning at home, and then school, and then college, and some other things. I've been studying this, knowing what it was. Like I said, family started, but knowing about success laws, universal laws, really putting a different name to it when I was in college. So early 20s.
Laws. I heard you say laws.
Yes.
So that means we're not using what is set in law. More times we're not using what is already set and put in our hands. These are laws on the books available to us. Is that what I hear you say?
Yes.
You're in college now. Your dad has his doctorate. You see mom is an entrepreneur, and you know what? You can't keep a good entrepreneur down, not at all. Tupperware, hair, whatever it takes. So you're in college. What really sparked this thing of manifestation? I really need to get a better understanding so that I can utilize this and make it happen for me.
I think it was seeing even, went from high school, we've been planning and celebrating, getting ready for me to go to college, and then it's there. I was 10 years old when I decided to become a doctor. Wow. I was 15. I guess this is where it really started, maybe even before college. I was 15, my first job, and I worked in a hospital in my hometown. The first day orientation, I'm outside of the auditorium in the hallway, and I see a group of doctors in their white coats walk by, right? And I look and say, that's me, I'll be a doctor. So I had a vision. That was probably one of the earliest visions of me in a white coat saying, yes, that's what I want to do. So the dream was born age 10, the visualization at 15, and holding that and revisiting that regularly, often from the time I was 15 until I was a doctor. And then about decades so later, I was in that same hospital with the same place with my white coat on. And I said, here I am, Dr. Angela Harden Mack. Thank you, God. So the dream, the desire, the vision, and then it was manifested. I was in my white coat in that place.
Wow. Mm, mm, mm. Starts with the dream, then we move to vision, and then manifestation. How did you there's some time in between the dream and the vision, that dash part before the manifestation. How did you hold on? You kept some people have vision boards and that type of thing, but how did you hold on to that so that it could manifest itself?
So from the time I was 10 to 15, it was the family. My parents, again, we come from humble beginnings. My parents would say, you can do anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be. Like, so we didn't know all these fancy words, success laws, manifestation. It was, you can do it. So I heard that at home. I heard that from teachers. And then later, and I can't remember the first book my dad had about creative visualization, probably picked that up, look at it, and some seeds were planted.
Wow. Dig a little deeper into that, because you recently were one of the speakers there at the Level Up Summit. I heard that was fabulous. Congratulations, and what an awesome opportunity. And you spoke on creative visualization. Can you take us into that subject matter a little deeper?
Yes. So my topic, and I used creative visualization to show us how we can get to the next level. So the summit was Level Up Summit, and my topic was next level living. There is a level beyond abundance. So many times we talk about not enough, we talk about just enough or overflow. And so I became aware of, this was several years ago, what I call a level beyond abundance. And it's taken from Luke chapter 5, where there's the net breaking level. So Jesus, and this was exactly my talk. We recorded it and I gave it live, that, they had toiled all night, the nets were empty. Jesus said to Simon, pull out, a little bit ways from the shore, and then said, launch out into the deep. And then Simon said, Jesus, we were out. He said, Master, we were out there all night. We didn't catch anything. And so he said, but nevertheless, he said, despite what I saw, despite what wasn't there before, I take Jesus, Master, at his word. And when Simon went out and launched into the deep and he put his net out there, not only was the net full, but it said it was so much that the net was breaking. That's why, again, God gave me that message, net breaking. And then it said it was so much that he called to another boat on the shore, said, come. And then both boats were so full that they began to sink. And when they got back to the shore, Simon said, I'm astonished. So that's what I was sharing out, really with the visual, like I'm astonished. So I'm living on this level. And so I talked about the creative visualization, create the vision. Well, that's what I said, is creating the vision meaning this picture. So when you want to level up, and it is definitely important, no matter what level you're on, get that vision of what you want, what you can have, and then you create it. So that was the C part. I said we need A, B, and C. A is we're available, B is belief, and C, we have to create it. Create this compelling picture or this compelling vision.
Wow. Give that the ABCs 1 minute. I just one more time. Available.
Okay. A is available, right? We have to be available. B is our belief. And then C is create. We're using that to create that vision.
Wow. When we are creating, this is fascinating stuff. When we are creating that vision is really already inside of us, waiting to come out. Do you agree? What do you say about that?
Yes. So God, for each of us, and that's exactly God. What I have learned, or what I teach, is that we all have been created for a purpose. I think if we become familiar with that, then there's a plan for each of us. There is a plan that's marked out for us. Well, with that plan, there is a picture, and He says, write the vision, make it plain, so that we could run with it. And so as we create that vision, which is the picture, and we don't have just one. I think we have multiple, because you can have one for your job, you can have one for this. We then learn how to feel it, to fill it in, not just a black and white, kind of just one thing, but we learn, or if we learn, because some people may not be familiar with that, we learn how to fill it in, not only with images, but when we learn about our emotions and our words, the emotions give it that energy, and then our words, because they have power, also help to bring that vision to be.
Our words, what we say, our
Yeah.
emotions colored in,
Yeah.
and they will dilute any measure of faith that we have if
Mhm.
we don't come correct with those two
Exactly.
things. I told everybody she's going to give us tools. I hope you're listening.
Mhm.
Gosh, creative visualization. It's just calling upon what is already inside of you. So if we,
Mhm.
it's you, there's you always hear someone say, "Well, I don't know what my purpose is. I'm not sure." If we get quiet,
Mhm.
what's going to happen?
Exactly, exactly. Because we have so many, especially in this time, I think in every generation, every century, there have been things, right? Because it's always specific or related to what's happening in the world. We all have things that are vying for our attention. We do. Family, we have technology, social media, instant bling, bling, boom. So if we don't take time to, again, to be still, to be silent and really focus and say, what is my purpose? What is my reason for being here? It's there, it's communicated, but we can miss it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
We can
Do you
miss it.
think we get in too big a hurry? We have this microwave. Oh, it didn't come yesterday, so I guess it's not going to come. If we have that kind of mindset, where do we end up?
The other path, we end up on a detour, places we should not be. Yes, exactly.
Wow.
That's one of the things that about this time, because there's such an urgency. There's everything is like quick, fast, give it to me now. If it doesn't happen in a couple of days or a couple of weeks, we begin to doubt. So waiting, and there's some fascinating books about waiting and what
Mhm.
happens during the times of waiting. Mhm.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to have to be sure to give us a couple of those titles. Definitely. You are an author. One of those books happen to be yours, one of yours?
Not about the waiting, no. And like I said, I don't remember the name of it, but I can certainly probably email you later if you want to, put out to the audience. But
I
there
do.
are definitely some great sacred. Okay, so one is Sacred Waiting. I don't remember the author, but it's Sacred Waiting. Um, I'm trying to remember. I've read at least 4 books on waiting. I know one is Sacred. Like I say, if they
Mm.
come to me,
Okay.
I'll remember that. Okay.
Well, we have Sacred Waiting. And the
Mhm.
fact that you have read 4 books dealing with waiting, that's
Mhm.
very important when we're dealing with, when we're waiting for the manifestation to
Yes.
appear in our lives. What do you say
Yes.
to that?
Yes, because waiting, until we really understand how powerful waiting is, we think of it kind of like an in between, nothing happens, but the waiting period is really powerful. And wait, there's several definitions of waiting. One is that we are in position, prepared to respond. So we think about a waiter, whether the waiter is right at our table or looking, and the waiter is available. So when we are ready, the waiter appears. So during the waiting period, God is working. God is always working. There's some things taking place with us, in us, and for us. Sometimes it's not that we are getting ready, but God has gone before us and gets us ready for that. And so when we talk about the manifestation process, part of it is that we have to let go of the resistance. We have to be willing to surrender how we think it's going to come about
Oh,
and
yeah.
when it's going to come about. That's called resistance. So we like, I want it my way. I want it when it happens. But when we can truly, just let go and say, I know this is for me. I know this is going to happen. And while I'm waiting, that I am free to receive it in the way that it is going to come to me. So that waiting is key.
That's powerful because when women are coming from corporate and they're deciding, I'm going to be a podcaster, I'm going to become an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
you there is that period of waiting because you
Yeah.
do have to be prepared,
Yeah.
and the Lord has to prepare places in front of you so
Yeah.
that you can move. But we get
Mhm.
so anxious, we get so afraid. Oh, did I hear you right, Lord? Did you tell me to do this? Wait a minute, I'm not making light of it because I've done it myself.
Mhm.
I've done
Mhm.
it myself. But
Mhm.
I'm so glad that you talked about waiting, because sometimes if it doesn't hurry fast, we're not making a bunch of money. We're not,
Mhm.
something doesn't pan out and we have family members watching us. And then, we're trying to hurry along because we have to prove that what we're doing is
Mhm.
legit. They're watching me, Jesus. When am I going to have that big win? When am I going to have that big
Yes.
sale? When am I going to end up in
Yes.
that big magazine? And it
Yes.
just might take years. Everybody's
Yes.
waiting season is different. Correct, doctor?
Mhm. That is so true. Yes. Yes. Everybody's waiting season is different. Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
that's powerful. Between the dream, the vision, there's a waiting season. Do you find that it's that way for everybody? Is that across the board? Get ready. There's going to be a waiting season.
Yes, there is a waiting season, but that season will vary. Like I said, sometimes things can manifest within, days or weeks, but many of the bigger things in store for us, we're talking about months and even years.
The
So,
bigger things. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. This is fascinating stuff. It really, really is. You you have a group, a women's empowerment. You're into women's empowerment coaching. Live Great Lives LLC. I like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Live great lives, not mediocre, great lives. Where did you get the title from? And take us inside, give us an inside look into your organization.
Yeah, so the origin story, this organization, again, God gave it to me about 10 or 11 years ago, and it started as a money circle. And it was Triple L, Ladies Living Large. And it was I invited about, I guess maybe like 20 women, about 14 and 15 participated. And over a number of months, we met, I think once a month. There was a book that we read. I think it was like The Millionaire Mindset. And so I had several topics. We would read the chapter in the book. We would gather and we would discuss it. We talked about budgeting, finance. We talked about how to find money within our budget. And it was such a great experience that from there, God then had me to do other things. And so Live Great Lives was in that arena. I did some things within the faith realm. And then I have, even on my job, I've been, although some of the things haven't been organized, so we're going to meet for 6 weeks, we're going to meet for 8 weeks and so on. So God would, as I'm sometimes really ministering to patients in the room, there was a word for a patient. And in particular, God really has me moving when it comes to self-esteem. When it comes to, because sometimes the health things like, man, this medicine hasn't changed this much, or these numbers haven't changed. So really helping ladies to do that. And so it started with that. And my experiences, like you mentioned, a professional woman, starting a career, expectations that I had, being at level, I'd say not 10, but 12 at the height, of my career, starting, young family, new baby, all this stuff going on at the same time. I was like, so since I have moved out and I had victory from that time in my life, God was like, this is what I want you to share, because what you have, learned and how you have grown and the victory and the overcoming you have experienced, now you can empower other women to do the same.
And there's definitely a need, because at the end of the day, we don't know what we don't know. And we really, most of us don't know a whole heck of a lot as far as moving forward in faith and this thing of confidence. Every step can be a very shaky ordeal for a lot of women. So thank you for the work that you're doing. You found that your life experience and everything that came with this forward trajectory that the Lord had your life on, now it's fair turnaround to help somebody else and help them understand.
Yes.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm looking at the clock and I don't want to hold you long, but I am just kind of wondering, I'd like to circle on back to this visualization.
Okay.
A person is listening and they say, wow, I have these dreams, I have these thoughts, I really want to move forward. She said, start out with a dream and then the vision and then hold on. How does a person just begin this journey so that they can, I want to see people just begin and have success. So where would it just from day one, from this moment on, they say, okay, I'm all in. Tell me, Dr. Angela.
Yes. Well, pick a couple things. Again, if I would say maybe start with 2 or 3. If you want to say what you want to do when you want to grow, maybe it's your career or business, maybe it's family, pick 2 or 3 things and just free form, whether you like to type or on your phone or whether pen and paper, and start with just desires, goals. Sometimes people call it desires or goals or wishes. Don't filter it. Don't say, don't limit it. Oh, I really want a car, but maybe I'll get a Ford Fiesta, but I really want a Jeep, just put everything down. Do that. And then when you look at it, begin to say, well, become excited about it, because the passion is really important. Work with maybe one or two at a time. It depends on how involved this is. I wouldn't recommend necessarily three in one sitting, but maybe one or two. And then you can have pictures, you can have a piece of paper for those people who are, kind of creative, they may want to do that. And then you want to be detail oriented. And again, don't limit yourself. Don't try to think I have to do this in 15 minutes. Preferably have some place where it's quiet. So maybe even set your timer. Okay, I'll have 15, 30 minutes, what have you, and let things flow. So say, for example, someone wanted to go on vacation. Don't just say, oh, you know what? I want to go on vacation. Do you want to go to Hawaii? Do you want to go to the Grand Canyon? Do you want to go to Puerto Rico, Washington State? Pick your destination and then have details. You may say, I want to go to Washington State in September, and I want to go see the redwood forest tree, and I can see myself, and you want to put details in. I see myself walking through this. I see myself going to the forest, looking up, going, oh my goodness, this tree is big. And then you can, what are the sights? What are the sounds? What do you hear? Do you see the animals going through? And the more detail you can put to that, and it's not going to be probably in one session. What is happening is that the brain is then looking at all of these images and creating images and filtering information. And you begin to, over time, recognize that. So you have your dream or your goal or your wish, have a quiet place, then begin to add detail to that. Sometimes that's referred to as clarity when you look at the thing. So you want to have clarity about that. And I want to show you, we may talk about that today. So this is one of the books I created. And this is actually, the second part of this is about visualization. And so it's an electronic, it's PDF. So if someone wanted to just read it on their device, or I made it so you can print it out because it's a workbook. And this is a picture frame. So what I encourage people to do, there are a couple of different picture frames because we all have different artistic, leanings. And I put just different ones. So, a man may say, I don't want all that fluffy stuff, so I have some that are a little plain, and then this one in the back, and this with the area is a little bit smaller, but and then the name of the book is Picture Your Great Life. So as you're working on this vision and the picture, if someone wanted to start off with a picture frame, they could. And I used to start mine with just plain paper, 8.5 by 11 paper, right? People are familiar with vision boards. So they know that you get magazines and you cut pictures out, you cut words out, and you get images. So one of the things that I often hear, or a question is, well, what's the difference between this and a vision board? I'm like, that's a great question. So the vision board, and the way I've learned, and the way I think it helps to help people understand it, the vision board many times may be static. It's going to be that image, right? You have it on your wall, you have it on your mirror, what have you. You still should look at it periodically. The visualization, think about this as a movie. Think about this as actually a movie at, a screen. So you can either be in the movie, it's your movie. Like I said, you're walking through the forest, you're looking way up at the trees, and you're, hearing the sounds. If you're on the beach, you can feel the, wind, and you say, oh, my hair is blowing in the wind. So you can either be in the movie, experiencing it yourself. You can be outside of the movie, watching, your body going, wow, look at Angela. Oh my gosh, she has a great, I like that sarong. Oh my goodness, the water is blue. Or you could actually be outside of you as if you're watching someone else. So you're immersed in this scene. So vision board may be static. Visualization, I just say, because that's a long word. And sometimes I'm like, visualization, that it's a picture, a moving picture that you're in it. And it may just be a couple minutes, but you're actually immersed in the scenes.
Gosh, oh my goodness. I had that happen to me, and I didn't know what to call it. Okay. I didn't know. All I knew was that I was going to go to Italy. My sister and I had talked about it, and it just caught into my spirit, and I could just see us going. She didn't make it, but years later, I got a chance to go, and I thought, wow. And once I got there, I felt her spirit everywhere, everywhere. Amazing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Oh,
and that's a little, and you bring up, that's a great question, because, and I don't get this one often, but we probably will, a little bit more, because I think a great question is, okay, Dr. Angela, you just mentioned that, but how is that different from a vision that we may get from God, right? Because dreams and visions with that, it could be, as with the visualization, that is something that we are kind of filling in the details, and we are imagining. Part of that's one of the words in the book. We are imagining. The vision is something that I think God gives it to us, like everything. We don't have to kind of add the detail, but He says, "Here it is," and we're there. So we have the vision board, we have visualization, and then we have those dreams and visions from God.
And that's substantial. That's real talk. Those are the God dreams and visions from God are real.
Yes.
They are real.
Yes.
Wow. Now the Picture Your Great Life, the workbook, is that your workbook?
This is my workbook. Yes, and I'm so excited. Yep. So is Picture Your Great Life, 21 principles and 21 reflections for great living. So the first part, and it has each page, you have like a principle. Like, for example, this is principle number 6, and there's a reflection. Principle 6 is keep an open mind. And then the reflection is there is always a higher level if you have an open mind. And there's always a cap on how high you go if you have a closed mind.
Oh my.
So it's meant to have space so that you can write. Again, we really, writing helps us to really take things in. So I mentioned if someone wants to just get it and read it on a device, but to print it out. And so there, this is a picture frame. So it's meant to say, imagine that this is your life. The 21 principles, I mentioned A, B, and C. The 21 principles help us to understand how to be available. And then the reflections help us be beliefs, getting to that mindset change. We talk about we have to get free of limiting and false beliefs. So looking at these reflections, well, I just turned to one. So this is number 19. The universal law of belief and attraction are 2 laws that empower you to experience great and extraordinary living. So these help us to think about, am I, playing it small? Am I thinking about what isn't there, what I can't do? But the reflections help us to really think, am I thinking all things are possible, or am I thinking about the limitations?
Oh man, I'm going to no shame in my game. I want a copy of that. So, Dr. Angela Harden, Mack, tell us where we can locate you. How do we become a part of Great Lives LLC? And where do we get a copy of that? Picture Your Great Life.
Yes. So the book, I'll tell you about that first, and where you can find me. So it's bit.ly/YGL book, and that's a download. So bit.ly/YGL book. I think a lot of people are familiar with the bit.ly, it makes this long thing shorter, and that's available. You can purchase that. I do have, and so I really, in these next, couple months, a lot of workshops about visualization, working with this. I have one coming up on Monday, the 4th. And so that one in particular for the Level Up Summit, what I did was I made that one free. So the individuals who purchased the book, and I'll probably even leave that open this weekend, if they purchase the book, there's an invitation. It was like a bundle package. So information about the Zoom, the link is included with that. But definitely we'll have some more coming up. The website is www.livegreatlives.com. And then on Instagram and Twitter, Angela HM Speaks. So both of those, and also Clubhouse. Yeah, yes.
You're available. You
Yes.
are available. I understand why you can wear that badge well, the manifestation expert. When you whipped that book out, it was like, and I mean, we're not talking about a little pamphlet either. It was like, help is on the way.
Help is on the way, yes.
Dr. Angela Harden, Mack, you are phenomenal. I'll be sure to have those links in the show notes, because people are going to, they definitely need what you have. There's so much upheaval and so much unrest, and people have lost their joy and they've lost their footing. So to be able to dream again, to envision a great life again, is a stretch for some people, but I know that you are able to, with these tools that you've given, and people that are bodacious enough to go ahead and get the Picture Your Great Life book, which I advocate people need to go ahead and buy Dr. excuse me, Dr. Harden
Mhm.
Mack's books so that you can move forward. You know,
Mhm.
we can't just listen to these episodes. And
Mhm.
when good content is made available to us, we have to make a move if we're going to maximize the information. So, listeners, please make your move. All right.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, Dr. Angela, we have just a few minutes left. What's one final thought for the listeners?
Yes, I would like to tell you the definition of great living. I talked about the origin story, but I think this would be helpful too. So, great living is living life's purpose on purpose in relationship with the Creator and in alignment with spiritual principles and universal laws. So, the first part of that, living purpose on purpose, is intention. Relationship with the Creator is connection, and alignment with principles and laws, that's harmony. So, intention, connection, and harmony. So that's great living.
It really is.
Mm-hmm,
It really
mm-hmm,
is. When you have those things, and when you are lined up with that,
mm-hmm,
oh, and you get in that state, fight to stay there,
mm-hmm,
fight
mm-hmm.
to stay there. Oh my
Yes,
goodness. I knew it
yes,
was going to be good. I knew this was going to be a brilliant conversation. Thank you
yes.
so
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank
It's,
you.
oh,
This has been
you're going to
wonderful.
have to
This
come back.
conference. Yeah, I look forward to this. Has been stimulating conversation. Like I said, I know that your mission, you're getting the word out and you're serving your audience. And thank you so much for this opportunity that I can assist you in serving your audience. And this process, great living and the big picture and manifestation, creating, being in alignment so that your great goodness can come to you. That's my assignment for this time. My assignment. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that the Lord gave it to somebody who's handling it well and
Mm-hmm.
executing everything that needs to be done and helping us understand. It's not fluff, fluff. It's not woo woo. This
Mm-hmm.
is the path to great living. You gave us some
Yes.
breadcrumbs today. So
Uh-huh.
thank you, thank you, thank
Uh-huh.
you. So, as always, everybody, it's hard for me to stop a really just good conversation. We're going to have Dr. Angela back. So, all I can say is that get the book, buy her books, and I will have in the show notes how to get in contact with her and a link to upcoming events. And I will see you next week with a brand new episode. Her business, her voice, her conversation. Bye bye now.
Bye-bye.